I had been looking forward to this night for a while. It had been a long week at work, and all I wanted was to relax, clear my mind, and enjoy a quiet drink at the bar. The dim lights, the soft hum of conversation, and the clinking of glasses felt like the perfect escape. I was exhausted and needed a break from everything. My phone had been buzzing all evening, but I had decided to leave it in my pocket. Tonight was for me. The bartender, who knew me well, slid a glass of whiskey across the counter, a generous pour. I picked it up, took a slow sip, and let the warmth of the alcohol settle in. For a moment, the world around me seemed distant, and everything felt just fine. That's when she walked in. I didn't notice her at first, but the low murmur of conversation grew louder. My gaze shifted, and my heart stopped. Walking into the bar, hand in hand, was my wife, Sophia, and a man I didn't recognize. They weren't just walking together. They were laughing, their faces close, as if they were a couple. It was like a scene in slow motion from a movie. My chest tightened. I knew something was wrong, but seeing it with my own eyes was something else. Sophia, the woman I had been married to for almost 5 years, had never acted like this. She was always warm, loving, and had a way of making me feel like I was the most important person in the room. But this was different. I watched them find a table in the corner, completely oblivious to the fact that I was sitting just a few feet away. They sat close, too close. He whispered something in her ear, and she laughed in a way I hadn't heard in a long time. A cold wave of disbelief hit me. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, but I needed to be sure. I needed to hear something, anything, that could explain what was happening. I stood up, my legs shaky, and walked toward the bathroom, but I couldn't stop glancing over my shoulder. Sophia was leaning in, and he kissed her. Not a casual peck on the cheek, but a deep kiss that left no room for doubt. In that moment, I felt my heart shattering. I needed air. I rushed outside into the cool night, trying to steady my breath. I stood there, trying to make sense of it all. What had I missed? What had gone wrong? We had been so happy. Sure, we had our disagreements like any couple, but nothing that would have led to this, or so I thought. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through the recent messages from Sophia. Earlier in the day, she had told me she was going shopping with her mom. She'd even sent me a picture of the clothes she was trying on, smiling like nothing was wrong. I stared at the screen, feeling the weight of her lies pressing down on me. How? How could she do this? And with someone I didn't even know? I stayed outside for a few minutes, trying to calm myself down. I wanted to leave, but part of me couldn't. I needed answers. I needed to hear it from her. With a deep breath, I made my way back inside, walking slowly toward the table where they were sitting. When I got close enough, I cleared my throat. Sophia looked up, her eyes wide with surprise. Her hand jerked away from the man, and for the briefest second, she looked guilty. He, on the other hand, didn't seem fazed. In fact, he looked downright smug, like he knew exactly what was going on. I took another step closer, staring directly at Sophia. "Hey, love," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Funny seeing you here. I thought you were out shopping with your mom." Sophia froze for a moment, her face paling. The man beside her glanced at her, then back at me, sensing the tension. She quickly stood up, her voice shaking as she tried to explain. "I was," she stammered, her eyes darting between me and him. This is Greg, my work friend. We were just catching up after work." Her words hit me like a slap. "Greg," I repeated, trying to keep my cool. "The man you're kissing is your work friend." She opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out. She glanced nervously at Greg, who now stood up as well, his posture stiff, as if preparing for a confrontation. The air between us felt thick with tension. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The woman I thought I knew, the woman I had trusted, was standing there, lying to my face. I could feel the anger rising, but I kept it under control. "Why didn't you tell me about him before? Why hide it all?" I asked, my voice quieter now, but no less furious. Sophia looked around, clearly uncomfortable. She wiped her hands on her jeans, avoiding my gaze. "I wasn't hiding anything," she said quickly. "I swear. I told you. He's just a work friend, someone I see at the office." But why was she lying? Why was she so nervous? Why had she kissed him in front of me? And why had she told me she was with her mom when she was really with him? No, it didn't make sense. Something was terribly wrong. "Listen," Greg interjected, stepping forward. "This isn't how I wanted things to go, but the truth is, I cut him off, not wanting to hear his excuses. "You're just another guy who doesn't care that you're wrecking someone's life, huh? Both of you are so selfish. You have no idea what this is doing to me." Sophia turned to Greg, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of hesitation in her eyes. But she didn't say anything. Instead, she turned back to me, her face flushed. "Please, just let me explain." I couldn't believe it. I had spent all this time trusting her, loving her, and she had been doing this behind my back. How long had it been going on? I wanted to know everything, but I knew asking now wouldn't help. I needed space. "Save it," I said, shaking my head. "You can explain it all when you're ready to tell the truth." I turned and walked away, my heart heavy. It felt like the ground beneath me had shifted, and I was falling into a pit I couldn't escape. I didn't even look back as I left the bar, my mind racing with everything I had just learned. I couldn't understand why she had done this. We had been happy, or so I thought. If something was wrong, why hadn't she come to me? Why hadn't she trusted me enough to be honest? Instead, she had hidden it, lied about it, and now there was no turning back. As I walked home, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had been living a lie all these years. Everything was so clear now. She had been hiding things from me, making up excuses. If you're not doing anything wrong, why hide it? Why not just be honest? But that was the thing about lies. They always catch up with you. And now the truth was out. The worst part wasn't even that she had cheated. It was a realization that the woman I had loved wasn't the person I thought she was. I had been a fool, but I wouldn't be fooled anymore. I just needed to move forward and figure out what came next. The truth had come to light, and now I had to deal with it.